A big win for South African consumers. Coming next year, mobile operators like your MTN and Vodacom will have to let you roll over unused data to the next month at no extra cost, so you won't lose what you didn't use. Bundles shorter than 7 days are excluded, but you will also be able to transfer unused data to other users on the same network. And ICASA says it's a major step towards protecting consumers despite industry pushback. So, chairperson of the End User Subscriber Charter Committee and ICASA councillor Catherine Mushi joins us now to share more. Catherine, good morning and welcome to the program. Thank you in advance for your time. So, many South Africans, and we've seen this in our poll this morning, are complaining about losing unused data. Can you explain in simple terms how the new rollover rules will stop that from happening?
Thank you, Iman, for having ICASA come to explain these regulations. These are not completely new regulations, but rather enhancements. The rules were actually introduced in 2018. They were reviewed in 2023. And now what we have done, because we had seen that the past regulations were not giving the effect that they were intended to, we then changed some of the rules. Amongst others is that previously the default used to be that once you are out of bundle, you'd be charged out of bundle rates. We have changed that to say the default now is that when you're out of bundle, then you must hit a hard stop and must elect to be charged out of bundle rates. That will deal with the bill shock that complaints that we've been having, where customers are billed out of bundle and not aware. We've also changed the mandate for automatic rollover that will happen without you doing anything, and as you said, at no extra cost. Now, the new rule says, as the bundle expires on whichever date, and you may, as the consumer, may not even be aware of that date, the bundle that expires must roll over at least once. And the reason for at least once, Iman, is also that because we regulate both in the consumer interest protection and also we do have a mandate to promote competition, encourage investment in the sector, and innovation. We also had to strike that balance that says a bundle cannot just exist in perpetuity, because then it would erode revenues. So we were striking the balance by saying at least let it roll over once. But with that also, we have the other rule is that, say you had bought several bundles, then the bundle that is first to expire must be the one that is used, so that the next bundle then can expire later. So the sequencing of the expiry of the bundles in case you had more than one bundle.
Yeah. So it's almost like a queuing system that places that one that's closest, and you would get your conventional warnings that it's close to expiry, or that you need to.
We have kept. Yes, the notifications we have kept, so that especially where we changing the out of bundle charges, so that you are at least aware that you are running out or your bundle is almost depleted. And if you want to recharge, you can do so that you don't just hit a hard stop and you're desperate, you don't have services.
What is the reasoning behind the exclusion
then also the rule
of... You go ahead.
The
go
7
ahead,
day, less than 7 days bundle. Yes, and the promotional bundles. So the promotional bundles, we argue that they are there to introduce a service and actually a test of some sort, to say if we put together this service, what would be the take-up? It's supposed to be existing forever, but with the promotional bundles, usually there's added value in those bundles. The 7 days bundle also, we thought our consumers who cannot afford data, at least they are the majority that use the 7 day bundle, at least not take the value away, that they can still buy their 5 rands, and the mobiles also continue to offer that value, so that it is that is not eroded from the market. So the 7 days bundle, we're mostly interested in making sure that even those that can't afford bundles, they can at least continue to buy those 5 rand bundles, and the mobiles can also continue their revenue model.
Let's talk about those mobile operators then, Catherine, if we can. MTN and Vodacom, we know the backstory to this. They fought hard. They were arguing, that the rules might increase costs or limit flexibility. How will you force, effectively these giants are worth 600 billion rand, I think is their evaluation. How will you force them to actually comply when these regulations take effect?
And these regulations are not a surprise. They come a long way. We've been consulting extensively with the operators and the public representatives to make sure that we all come together to agree at a midpoint. And obviously, we will not always agree, but ICASA had to take a stance and make the rules as they see fit. So the reason why we have even allowed it to say the implementation date would then be in a year's time is to allow mobile operators to then tweak their business plans, set up their networks in a way that aligns to these rules, so that at least in the new dispensation, they are not disrupted.
Yeah.
So it is the reason also why we've allowed for the year as an implementation date.
But what's stopping these networks, Catherine, from simply raising the prices of the bundles or, whatever they need to do to make up for the potential in lost revenue? How will you continue to ensure that it is the consumers who will ultimately benefit at the end?
So, this is not a once-off exercise. ICASA does require of mobile operators, licensees, to submit compliance reports. Amongst those is the tariffs that they charge. And we do a tariff report where we look at what the trends are. And obviously, we monitor it very closely. And should we see that there's a reverse practice, we will then have to go into a competition assessment of some sort and do the regulatory work that needs to be done to regulate that the market is not abusive. We do work together with the Competition Commission when it comes to prices. There was a study that was done, I'm not sure if you are aware, that actually started to force the prices down. Because what then happens is that if you do not comply with these rules, then ICASA has the powers to enforce penalties.
We were just projecting there to our viewers the poll that we were running today, and I just want to quickly share the results of that poll. It was about unused data and how much unused data had our viewers lost at the end of the month. 92% of them had said yes every month. So again, it speaks to the impact out there for those consumers who keep losing, because when you're losing data, you're actually losing money. So this is an opportunity for them to take control of that, but also not to lose money. As you've just been sharing with us, Catherine, these plans, these rules have been in place since 2018. There was another sort of revision in 2023. So it's been, in the space. Why has it taken 8 years to, and how do I make it simple? Why has it taken 8 years to stop these networks from ripping people off?
You said, what does stop them?
Why did it take 8 years? Just talk to us about some of those. Yeah, why did it take 8 years to stop them from ripping people off?
We are regulating a very diverse market. Rip-off, I don't know if I'll say rip-off in that, use that word, but what has since happened is that the market keeps evolving. And as the market keeps evolving, services look different. Now, what has been a challenge is when our consumers are also not empowered to make, ask the right questions and make the necessary interventions. ICASA relies heavily on consumer complaints and the feedback that we get from our consumers, whilst we also look at the tariff reports compliance, as I said. Now, why I'm bringing in this movement is that you will notice that 8 years ago, there wasn't a lot of what is happening today on OTT content and all of that. the market has moved so much that to compare 8 years ago to today is not so easy. So as ICASA, we try and keep up. And we had to look at OTTs and the effect it has on the market. Now we have to look at mobile virtual network operators, your Cell C Connect, your FNB Connect, that are also disrupting the market. So, we're not regulating a static market.
Yeah.
So it really takes a lot for the regulator to keep up also with all these changes, all these bundles that are being introduced in the market, the prices that are being charged. And as I said, ICASA also regulate prices in terms of telling, prescribing how much must be charged for a gig. But we do, because we want to encourage innovation, we want to encourage investment, as I said, but we do also try and monitor the trends. And on those trends, that's where we introduce regulations. So it's not like a flat 8 years that nothing has been happening. As I said, we've been introducing levers as we continue. And this is not just on end user and subscriber chat. You'll see at later, you will publish regulations like the numbering plan, wherein ICASA is also trying to manage the data SIMs that are in the market.
Yeah.
Because the multiple data SIMs also make it very, very difficult for ICASA to do studies on the usage and patterns, because one subscriber has so many different bundles, so many different SIMs that, and the market is moving all the time. It's quite a challenge, but we keep trying.
Well, and we'll continue to watch those efforts bear fruit, hopefully. Catherine Mushi from ICASA, thank you for your time today. Appreciate it.